Welcome to the podcast that talks about the questions and only about the questions because
We're all about the questions.
Now, before we even get into it,
yes, sir.
please hit the subscribe button if you're watching on YouTube.
Thank you.
And the bell notification.
Appreciate that.
Like it if you'd like to. And comment if you'd like to as well. That'd be cool.
Of course. And don't be afraid to share with a friend.
Facts.
Go ahead.
Also, if you are listening on Spotify or Apple Music, if you could give us a rating of 5 stars, I'll change the pop up this time. It won't be
Facts.
rating me, okay?
Appreciate you.
Yeah.
He took it with that last one. I was watching. I was like, damn, really? Glue's getting the number one rating.
I had to.
It's okay.
I edited it.
Hey,
I did it.
yo, the Halloween polls, I'm still riding that wave,
Yeah,
bro.
wow, you really
Still riding that wave.
Yeah, you destroyed that poll.
Of course.
And if you're listening on Spotify, please make sure to download the podcast if you'd like to.
Hey.
And also toss us a follow on there.
Hey, sometimes you don't have data. You
I
know,
hear you.
sometimes you don't have data.
Sometimes you're driving in the mountains and you just want to listen to something and you don't have data. So it's downloaded. So then you can listen to it anyway. Person to my left.
Yeah.
Would you like to introduce yourself?
I would like to introduce myself. My name is Q to the B-A-B. You know what?
What?
Nah.
Okay, what?
My name is Mr. Beaches. Talk to me nice. Back with it again. You know the
we back with
vibes.
that.
We're back with it. It is what it is.
Okay.
Been around. Will
Okay.
continue to be around.
Okay.
Respect me in your house. Respect me in your Go on.
Damn. Person behind the camera. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Yes, I would. Since we're switching up names, I go by Strezza. That's my govy, but call me Ood.
Hold tight, Ood.
If you don't know what Ood is, do your research.
Hold tight. Hold tight, Ood.
So sick of these, man.
And to my right.
You already know who it is. I don't have another nickname. It's your boy Glue.
What up, Glue?
Shit, what up? How's everyone doing today?
Man, I am blessed.
I gotta take this gum out my mouth.
Go ahead, do your thing, man. I'll tell the people how I'm feeling. I'm good. You know, I'm off of the finals wave. I've been enjoying my time for the week. Start work pretty soon, but I'm good.
Word.
You know what I mean?
Nice.
Leveled,
Word.
grounded,
Amazing.
alleviated.
Good.
That's the right word.
That's everything.
Ood.
What about you? How you doing?
I'm alright still.
Nice.
Work is picking up.
Good stuff.
I'm back being active, sports and all.
Word.
Nice one, bro.
Yeah, man.
Yo,
Yeah.
we saw your post with the vest.
Oh, yeah.
Clean. That shit was
Clean.
fire. Bro.
Appreciate that.
Clean.
That was a little work from 2017, 2018. A little bit of samples.
Word.
Yeah, if you ever need one, give me a shout. Do
Yeah,
customs.
Drop
do it all.
your IG tag real quick.
Oh, we'll do that. Don't worry. Yeah.
No, drop it right now.
Oh no, pop up for sure. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, yeah.
Pop up
We-
still.
yeah, we-
Pop
we
up
got it
still.
like that,
Yeah.
You know?
Go watch
Pop
that
up
shit.
still. For the real ones, you know, for the real ones.
Word, and I've been all right. You know what I mean?
Good
Keeping it strong with school.
Nice.
Trying to finish off this stuff.
That's what's up, man. You liking that? You liking that?
School?
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Is getting a little bit challenging,
all
but you
good.
know we can always push through a challenge, and we
That's
ain't
that.
never back down from a challenge.
100%. That's that post-secondary lifestyle.
Facts.
Mhm.
Also today I was greeted by a group of kids running up a hill with me when I was doing hill training. And it felt really nice, man. I wanted to give them all high fives. It's just like really wholesome. It's very like little kids acting like little kids and having fun in
That's
life.
good shit. That's
That
that
shit made me
like
smile.
what is that? That's like that 80s what's the word? When they switch clothes and all that. What's the word?
I don't know.
Come on. Y'all know it. Come on.
I don't know.
They switch clothes. Montage.
Oh, montage.
That's that like 80s montage movie moment.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
boxer training for his fight. He's running up hills. The kids are hyping him in the back. Go Glue type of vibe.
Yeah, it's like that.
That's
No
sick,
lie,
bro.
I pictured P Diddy running up the hill and Every Step You Take. I don't know what the song that with Biggie, but he's run up the hill with the
With the
kids,
kids?
and they're like, you know,
I'm gonna
it's
see
a
the video.
moment. I pictured
Yeah.
that.
Nice
You know what I
one.
mean?
That's genuinely how I felt. It felt really nice.
That's good stuff.
I wanted to shout out all the kids.
That's that energy, bro. You know?
Yeah, it's the little things in life that make you happy. fam.
Straight
I swear to
up.
God.
I've been to ball a couple times.
Mhm.
And not to hype up the jersey, but I've been to ball a couple times, and like, there's been a few times the kids will come up to me like, "Yo, you play for the Raptors?" I'm like, "Yo, loud, don't get me hyped up before the game. I can't hit things like that, but I appreciate it.
I don't think anybody's ever said that to you.
That's what we're doing."
What player did they say you look like though?
Hmm?
What player? Did they say-
Sorry.
Yo, and with that, let's get into it. All right. So first topic on the docket
Yes, sir.
is content versus creativity.
Big question.
And yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
And why I want to bring this up is because we bring creative content to y'all.
Yeah.
Meaning, if you look a lot in like this society right now, in this day and age, and you look at like TikTok, one person makes something creative, which is starts to trend, and then everybody copies it, which is the content.
Yeah.
I genuinely don't see a lot of people creating content, like being creative and creating content.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
creating
Original
creative
thought.
content,
Original
content.
thought. Yeah.
Exactly. And
With
I hear and I see all these people saying, "Oh, I'm a content creator," and da 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 da. But it's like, did you figure something out that you made by yourself?
Yeah. You copy and paste. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You plagiarize, my
Even
boy.
like, you know what's crazy? You know what's crazy? Because if we're gonna break it down, right?
Yeah.
The podcast that we were shooting in like 2020, 2021, you could say that we had copied other podcasts because there were other relationship podcasts going on at that time, right?
Of course. Yeah.
But what I truly think is that the way that we delivered our content was more creative than the way that other people might have done.
Well, it was unique.
Personally.
Like, it was unique. I think, like, one thing that a lot of people, like, even overlook, like, and this isn't even to big up our podcast, but, like, I watch a lot of YouTubers. I listen to a lot of different podcasts and all that kind of stuff. Like, cuts are huge. Like, in the middle of their conversation, you know what I mean? There'll be, like, a weird pause, cut, and that's the kind of thing. And not to say that we haven't cut before, because we have, like, sometimes, like, we, you know, lip up on words or whatever, but whatever it is. But, like, a lot of, like, creators out there, they have like a skeleton almost, and then they just, like, they have to hit certain points, cut, certain points, cut, certain points, cut, or, like, you know what I mean? Like, there's a lot of cuts. Like, you just see it. There's a lot of cuts going on. Like, a lot of people are, like, not tuned to it just because, like, they don't edit, so they don't know what it looks like. Yeah. But, like, there's a lot of cuts. Like, we are coming off the top. Like, this podcast is like a freestyle. You know what I mean? It
genuinely is.
And that's because, like, that's the type of content we want to bring. Like, we're trying to bring a conversation. We're not even trying to bring just like a structured podcast. Like, we have a few questions in mind before we go into it, but it's like we are on the spot making shit up as we go, and we try to make it as quality as possible.
Yeah, and
organic. Exactly. That's a great word for it.
Exactly. And authentic.
Great word for it. Yeah.
Because like we've definitely reshot podcasts. Let's not get it twisted.
Yeah.
Like, we shot a podcast and we were like, yo, that was poor.
Yeah.
And then we had to reshoot it, but we actually ended up coming up with different answers to the same question that we had posed.
100%.
So our skeleton is genuinely like, we have one topic.
Yeah.
And then we just spitfire with like things that come to mind. And I think like that is something that's so creative with us. I genuinely feel like in this day and age that we're in, like, not a lot of people are actually being creative.
No, not at all.
And it sucks.
Not at all. Like, I think it takes like because like the thing is, like, on top of everything else, like, a lot of brands are trying to just be as PC as possible. You know what I mean? And like, already I think that we're pretty respectful dudes when it comes to podcasting. Like, I think we're very, like, we're pretty respectful. Like, we, you know, whatever
just in
do you
everyday
want to
life,
do.
we're kind of respectful.
Straight
like
up.
Anyway.
So like, when we're shooting and having these conversations, like, everything comes naturally. The jokes come naturally. Like, there's a few times, like, I try to watch every podcast that we produce just to make sure that it's top content. And like, doing that, it's like, while I'm watching, I'm like, damn, I could have said this here, or like, oh fuck, that would have been a funny joke to like lay up here, or oh, I missed this that was going on. But I just feel like it makes it so much more organic and authentic that, like, why would we not continue doing that? Like, I've always said that, like, at the baseline of everything that we do, I want to make sure that every single person listening feels like we're just talking to them. You know, like, the one thing that with podcasts that resonate with me is that when I'm listening, I'm like, damn, I'm just sitting in the room with these guys and like we're having a good conversation. And I love the fact that like people come up to me in real life or like, yo, how's the podcast doing? Or like, oh man, it was super funny when you said this. Like, that just makes me feel like we are giving the content that we want to give, which is every individual person listening. Like, we are talking to you and we want you to be able to interact with the podcast as best you can.
Absolutely.
You know?
And like end up being in the middle of the podcast being like, oh, yo, I would have said this if I was at that point.
Yo, straight up.
You know, like genuinely having a conversation with us, even though we're not there, while listening or watching the podcast.
Straight up.
Like, that is our primary goal with this entire podcast.
Yeah,
I
or
feel
sitting
like.
down and like, yo, no way these guys think like that kind
Yeah.
of thing. Like, I love that shit.
And like that's the biggest thing about creativity is it's supposed to invoke emotion.
100%.
When you have like content, it's like you see so much stuff and you're like, oh, that person did this person did the same thing, and you just continuously see the same thing. But it's like, who created that?
Yeah.
And how did they end up creating that?
Straight
like,
up.
It takes a lot of brain power to come up with something like that.
100%. You know what I think is crazy is that like a lot of the content creators that I listen to, like their comedy is like, it comes from like, and I know you'll get this, it comes from Jake and Amir.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and I big up Jake and Amir. Love those guys. Like they like I listen to them every week still, but like a lot of the content, a lot of the joke structure that those guys like come up with is like, you can tell because Jake and Amir did their stuff like impromptu as well. Like they were just
Yeah.
like fucking around on
And
a
back
video.
before anything, when YouTube was just popping off, like 09.
Straight up, yeah.
2010.
It was like big, just like
Yeah.
come up with your own shit on the spot, a lot of impromptu stuff work, and it's like that sort of creation, it just feels so much more like rewarding in the end when like we bust a joke and it's like, yo, that shit is like, that's, you know,
That-
that's
that
on the,
hit.
it's in the moment. Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
that hit, that was in the moment, that was good stuff. Like that's the type of thing I'm trying to create. So like when it gets received, that's what we're trying to do.
Right.
Like that makes me just happy. I just love that shit. So
What about you, Oud? Because like you're in the space of fashion, and
Word.
that's a very, like, I would say, an abstract creative outlet.
yeah.
Like how do you find like the creativity in that outlet? Even just genuinely in Calgary, actually. Let's like centralize it.
Mhm.
Like how do you feel like the creativity is with
Mhm.
a fashion brand in Calgary?
I see there's creative people, but I also see it as just how would I have to say, just human behavior in general. I feel like a lot of people try not to stand out too much, but they want to still like create as well, or like dress a certain way. So a lot of people do stuff to like go with the flow what everybody else is doing, so they don't stand out too much, but they're actually doing something. So for example, people getting dressed, those kind of videos and stuff like that, they're cool. They show people's creativity and what their style is.
Yeah.
But that also goes in the same breath of that era where you couldn't miss a superstar. Yeah, you know, like Adidas Superstars.
Yeah.
It's like you
Yeah.
couldn't miss it. Or like
Yeah.
Stan Smith. It's like everybody does something to like blend in with a group and they want
Yeah.
to belong to a group. Like if you're a content creator, you do stuff with the algorithms put out, right?
Yeah.
So then you're in that flow. But like I feel like the individuality needs to stand out a little bit more. Maybe that's why I've taken a long pause and thinking like I don't want to put something out right now. I kind of want to home in on my craft. Because I could have came out with t-shirts like I've done before, or tracksuits like I want to, and all that kind of stuff. But like everybody's doing it, so it doesn't make me feel like
You're unique.
yeah, it's like everyone's doing
Yeah.
it. So I'll just go into like the mixture like everybody
Pool
else is
of
doing.
people,
Yeah, it's just
yeah,
like,
yeah.
like you want to do something. You want to be an individual, so you want to do something to stand out, right?
Of course.
And yeah, invoke that into somebody else.
Word. And like what I know about like fashion is not much, but like there's also like the certain categories that you can go for. So like being like involved with like fast fashion, where you're trying to just like meet the trend where it's at that day, try to get that out, that idea. Then there's like the fashion where it's like you're looking at like 90s style. You know what I mean? You're trying to hit the people that are into the vintage sort of lifestyle.
Yeah.
You can get that. And then like outside of all of those little bubbles that people like the main categories that people dress as,
Yeah.
you can also do your own creative thing. And I think like that is where the separation becomes, where it's like you actually have something that's creative and you have something that could be meaningful to a lot of people and like start like even like a new trend. I don't like the word trend because I think it's like I think it's kind of cheapest, but like you start a new sort of vibe that everybody can go after, right?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Or like, oh, there's this, we can also do this. You know what I mean? I think that's huge when it comes to like the line of work that you're in. So, and I see that with you. You know what I
Appreciate
mean?
that.
I see that with you. Like a lot of the stuff you're going for, especially even like last podcast we modeled the vest, and like people were noticing that as well. But like
Yeah.
we modeled the vest. It's like when it goes into even like vest work, there's not a lot of like styles that are just like trying to hone in onto the vest work. That's like a huge thing I think already, which is sick. I think that's
Appreciate
cool.
that.
Yeah.
I did that. Yeah, I did that a couple years ago, and I didn't think like North America really like wanted to see that. Maybe that's probably my thinking of like it, Canada and North America just being a little bit behind.
Yeah.
But in terms of like content and stuff, like apps like TikTok and like Instagram, you don't want to be known for some stuff as that Instagram or TikTok kind of designer.
Straight
It kind of
up.
dumbs you down, or like,
That was it.
especially for where you want to be, where I want to be. It kind of just like puts that label on you. It's like being a musician and be like, oh, you're the musician that blew up off Instagram. It's like you didn't get seen by that record label exec and then get put on to show your actual talent. It's like, oh, you played the algorithm game and then everybody saw you kind of stuff. So it's kind of hard. I kind of want my stuff to be organic, but yeah, it's that catch 22.
Which is
what we do.
cool. Sorry, go ahead.
Right. No, I was gonna say like I was just wanted to add something to like the definition of creativity.
Mm-hmm.
Like I feel like I just want to talk in general. I feel like creativity is something that is like unique and original, that invokes emotion and is something that you can relate to.
Yeah. The relating is hard.
So for instance, like the relating is so hard.
Mm-hmm.
The relating and like invoking emotion.
Yeah.
Those two like
Topics, whatever it is.
Right?
Yeah.
Like those two emotions.
Yeah.
Right. Those are so hard to invoke in people, and you see the brands that do it properly and actually blow up.
Mm-hmm.
So for instance, like I'm gonna use you as an example.
Yeah.
Like you posting the vest and then having so many people gravitate to you, being like, yo, these are sick. 1, 2, when can I buy one? Where can I buy one? Like having that interest is like, yo, I've done something outside of the box that isn't really seen in Calgary.
Straight up.
Or in North America, let's say. And people are gravitating to it. So there's a market for it. And if you're like the first one to do it, evidently there's going to be people who copy you.
There's biters everywhere, bro.
They have to, because like it's very hard to come up with a concept.
That's how you know you're doing something right, though.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And so it's like when you see that, you're like, all right, cool, I've been creative. Like that's something that is creativity at its finest.
Yeah.
I think and I'm not boasting or tooting our own horn.
Go ahead and toot your own horn, bro.
But like I think our podcast is different from other podcasts because of the topics that we come with.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We all talk about certain things, but it's like how we break down the topic, for especially even with this, is like with the content versus creativity. I've never seen somebody say that before.
Straight up, yeah.
Because they're so closely linked together, but there's a very big difference.
Yeah.
And I'd like to add that you lot have range in terms of you lot's chemistry.
Mm-hmm.
So like you like intertwine with like banner and all that kind of stuff, so it works and it flows. It's not like heavy loaded on one side. It kind of just flows and makes it easy to listen to. And that's like, I've been knowing you. You guys remind me of like guys in school that group that were always together, but like whenever they're sitting their table sitting close to your table, there's just jokes.
You just
know?
hear,
You're like
at the other table
earshot,
over here,
you know what I
Yeah.
mean? That's the feeling I get when
Straight
I've
up.
always been listening to you, like, you know.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, it's fair, and I feel like even because like we've had like biters, you know what I mean? Like even on not even on like a big note, like we've had like other people that have like tried a podcast and like we
or want us to
listen in,
come on their podcast so
Yeah.
that they can like understand how we do what we do and stuff like
Chemistry is not something that can be replicated.
that. It's not.
Creativity is not something that can be replicated. I
at the
think
nets.
even us like being able to like air out our skeleton, even you to be like for us to even be talking about the vest, like that's something you shared. So like those sort of things are open for the public. They have no one will ever understand how we structure this podcast. They'll never understand like the way that we're able to like have a conversation based off of things, and like even me speaking right now is just right off the top. Like it's never like I have a paper in front of me, we have to make a cut and I have to like make my words mean something.
Yeah,
It's literally just like we're flowing with each other's energy, and like
Right.
that is something that I think is lost right now within our society. Because like even I want to even bring up the side of like television, where it's like you see a lot of new TV shows, you see a lot of new movies just following a basic skeleton. The ones that like actually make it somewhere are the ones that are just complete original ideas. We even talked about it like a couple weeks ago. I think it was 2 weeks ago now, or maybe last week. That like Netflix, all those kind of things.
being
When we talked about
outlandish.
like,
which also,
you know,
just to touch on that real quick, I was scrolling through Instagram one day and I don't want to shout on this one page.
go on then.
They had like this one documentary that they just put out that was the most. It literally in the caption said the most disturbing documentary I've ever watched on Netflix. Netflix, I was coming for you with Euphoria. But I came for you this time.
Glue's not with it.
Yeah, different type of glue still.
Wicked. Wicked.
But yeah, I hear you with these thought-provoking, loud things. That's what
Yeah.
people need to
Yeah.
do to be creative,
It's
like
loud,
creative,
bro.
which is
Okay,
which is fine.
How
Yeah.
would you guys tell somebody to be creative? Since
It's
we're all
well, like
creative
the
people.
thing is, like, comes with me is that, like, bro, like, it's not like it's not something that I can teach you. Like, for
You don't think
me,
so?
like, no, bro. Like, for me, like, the way that, like, even the way that I speak or the way that I come up with thoughts has been something that I've like not perfected, nowhere near even anything close to that. But it's like it's something that I've like focused on throughout my entire life. Like before shooting this podcast, I was still an outspoken person. Before shooting this podcast, I was still like very outgoing and willing to have a conversation with a lot of people. That's not something that like you can teach someone who doesn't know how to do that. Like it's not like if I sit down with you, I'm like, hey, listen, you got to be open to everything. I'll talk to the camera. You got to be open with everything. You have to like be able to rebuttal very quickly. You got to be on top of your head. People don't know how to do that, bro.
Yeah, that's
like that's not something that like, and a lot of people are like, yo, I can handle. We can make I can make a podcast. Like super excited. I have a lot of fun like conversations with my friend, and it's like, yo, do it. I'm never gonna tell someone not to do
absolutely.
it. Do it.
Yeah.
Like go ahead and do it. That's
Yeah.
great. That's good. That's what you should be doing if you want to do it. But it's like for us, when I shoot this podcast, I'm not stressed to shoot it. I don't feel like I have to pull a personality out of the backbones of my life to just try to like push some sort of thing that the media is gonna like. I will say things, and I have said things on this podcast that people are not agreeing with.
Yes.
You know what I mean? They're not happy to hear, but like that is my personality. There's not like some overlying like persona or filter that I put on myself before I hit this podcast.
Right.
When I talk to the camera, when I talk to people, when I'm saying shit in this mic, that's just me, bro. You know what I mean? So it's like for me, if I'm gonna teach that to somebody, that means that I have to teach someone my personality. That's not something I'm gonna be able to do.
Or even willing to want to do.
Like it's not, yeah, you know what I mean? It's
Yeah,
not like
facts.
I don't want copycats, real life.
Yeah.
Like I don't want copycats, and I don't want people like obviously like even for me, like I love the podcast. I love the people that interact with us, and I love all that stuff. But even for me, like going out in public and the few times that I've been like recognized in public or like
Which is mad cool, by the way.
mad sick. I love it. It's a great time. But like even like when people are like, "Oh, yo, you said this on the podcast," like I'm like, "Yo, like that's wild." You know what I mean? Where like people are like, yo, you're listening to like interpersonal stories, especially when we're doing like relationship stuff. Like people are like tuning in to like my personal life and like stuff that I've lived through. You know what I mean? Like so for them it's a sweet story. But like for me it's like bittersweet because it's like, yeah, I lived through this, I worked through it, and like I've told that on air, and like that's something that I've willingly shared with the public, but I never realized like to what point like people would actually listen to that kind of stuff.
Yeah, and retain it.
Exactly.
And relate to it.
Exactly.
What about you? Do you think you could teach creativity?
Yeah, so the service I provide, this isn't a service about my services, but I do sell more than vests. I do jackets, I do trousers, I do t-shirts and stuff. But a service I provide is custom.
Yeah.
So what I like to do is do consultations, and I have a template. So like I have a jacket, let's just say, or people are familiar with the vest, and I allow people to pick whatever fabric they want. But how I go about it is asking what's their color palette like, what they have in their wardrobe, or what do they actually want in a jacket. Do you have a reference? Do you have something? Just so I'm building something for them instead of what is trendy. So then they know it's like, this is, like, I want them to realize this is for you. Do you know what I mean? Like,
I'm putting my talent to skill for you.
exactly. Like if I'm making you a suit, yeah, I can make a standard charcoal suit, but the lining, I will push you to have a lining that represents you. Like whatever print, whatever color, because it's on the inside, maybe not anybody but see, but you know it's there.
Yeah.
If I'm building a jacket like I just did before, I allowed my friend to build his own jacket from a template and pick the materials. But like for color, I know he loves red, so it'll be incorporated because he likes it. But it's just more of a allowing people to be an individual.
Word. Express themselves.
Yeah, allow
Yeah.
yourself to express yourself, because
Yeah.
I know everybody has their corporate jobs and 9 to 5s, get the money. I get it, you know what I mean? But at the same time, when you're not clocked in at work, you're still you. You know what I mean? You're not fitting no mold. You have to be who you are and figure that out. And like, we're not in school no more, so obviously you've gone through school and tried to find that person who you are. Now you're working, but then when you're outside of work, you're sort of like, life is taking a hold of you. You don't know, sometimes you forget who this individual is. So I allow you to have the flow to just create whatever you want, and like send me whatever picture you want. You seen this on I don't know, power.
Celebrity,
And you'd be like,
whoever,
oh,
yeah.
I like this jacket that I had. This happened the other day. Oh, I just celebrate wearing a vest. I want to recreate that. Cool, I can do that for you.
Word.
But what do you want to see on it?
Yeah, yeah.
And I can
Where's
tell
your
you what makes
personal
sense.
touch, right?
Yeah, I can tell you what makes sense, what doesn't.
Yeah.
Color palettes and all that kind of stuff. But like, what actually makes sense? Cool. Then, yeah,
Yeah.
just up to you.
I feel like that's even something like now, and I'll let you answer
yeah, go
next,
ahead.
but I feel like that's even something now is that like for that side of things, that's like you understanding the craft you're in. Like that's like you having like already a strong baseline where it's like even if we look at like people who are like rappers or people who are like making music nowadays that don't know how to play an instrument.
Yeah.
And it's like that's your craft. Like you know what I mean? Like even when I'm watching basketball. Like
You're an
like
entertainer
finals,
at that point. You're not
straight
even an
up.
artist.
You know what I mean, bro? Like it's like, yo, when I'm watching the finals and I'm like, I'm like, yo, you're getting paid 55 mil on like a team to play basketball and you can't hit a free throw. You know, like no disrespect to Shaq O'Neal, that man is a god. But like it's
Or
like
Claxton.
you know what I'm saying? But like it's like, yo, you're only there to do that thing. Like it's not like they're like, hey, shoot this hoop, but also like be a rapper on the side or like do some other side job. It's like, no, your only job is just to shoot this ball at the end of the day and like do things with like, you know, but oriented deep, whatever it is. But like if you can't hit those, it's like, yo, like, what are you working on? Like, what are you doing? If you're not super crazy on one side of the game, like, what are you doing on the other side?
Exactly.
So, like, that's the thing. Like, you being able to be like, yeah, like, you want to see that? You want me to recreate that? Sure, I can do that. What's your personal touch? Like, that is the creative side of you. That is, like, what success brings. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's what success is sought after. It's like people that get successful over nothing. I can make a one-hit wonder. Cool, I don't know how to make music, so I'm done after that. You know what I mean? Like, you could get successful off of one tread that you make, and, like, people will gravitate towards that. But if you don't know how to make the clothes, like, you're not going to be able to make a career out of it, right?
Facts. Put the time in.
Exactly. So I think
time
that's huge. But you, how do you feel about creativity,
How
my
would
friend?
I teach somebody creativity?
Yeah, how would you teach someone what you do, man? Because you know, I don't even want you to answer on like the podcast side of things because I've sat down in the Twitch streams and I've seen you creatively like and I'm not even trying to big you up right now, but like I sat at the beginning of the stream, watched everything you do because I've never seen it like full time, and like to see you create something literally out of just like certain pictures you've taken and have that sort of like envision for the end of it, like how would you teach someone to have that same vision, bro?
Honestly, like I like both of your answers.
Yeah.
You know, so I wrote like some key points.
No,
down,
go
right?
ahead.
Like your personal touch and like knowing yourself, right? Like, and then with you, like you saying that like you're unable to do that.
Of course, yeah.
Right? I think I'm unable to teach somebody how to be to have the same creative touch that I have.
Word. Yeah.
I think that like a lot of it is just a lot of practice.
Okay.
And when I say practice, it doesn't necessarily mean like practice with your craft. You obviously have to do that to get good at it. Because if we look at like just a podcast, even though you don't want me to do that, but from a podcast point of view, like if you look at our first episode compared to now, the banter is still in the first episode, but it's not as confident as
of course
our speeches.
It's not comfortable. Yeah, right? It's not comfortable. Like
it's not comfortable with that, and it's very like, yo, what are we doing? We don't know how to do it. We're making mistakes, whatever, which is fine because we're learning, right? But we had to take a cut because the camera's about to stop recording,
Sometimes
even though we
happens.
don't take cuts. You know what I mean?
Sometimes that happens.
But what I was saying was, if you look at the beginning of our podcast, the banter is still there.
Yeah.
We've just now become more confident with our speech. And like I think that practice does make perfect with actually practicing your craft, but actually practicing your creativity. It's definitely one of these key words that and I made. I'll bleep it. No, I said his name.
Drop the government in that. Yeah. Go ahead.
That Oud and I made, one of the key words, and as well as Spades, one of the key words was perspective. There's been a huge word in the beginning of 2022.
Facts.
Yeah. And I think like your perspective on how things look or how things are supposed to look, that is what makes you creative. Because you can add your own personal touch on something, but you could still have a perspective of what somebody else has done. Word. Like, for instance, we're about to put this stuff out, so I'll say it. But putting the record, using a record as as a piece of content and making a sound what's it called? Not a soundtrack.
Instrumental.
An
But yeah.
instrumental
Yeah,
behind it
Yeah.
to invoke emotion into how we think that, or how you think that a vest should make somebody feel.
Yeah.
Oh, we're not doing vests. We're doing jackets. But
Jackets, sorry, jackets,
It's
sorry,
how it
jackets.
evokes the
Still,
feeling
yeah.
and all of that. Yeah.
Don't
Yeah.
do too much, you
So
know what I mean?
No. But it's like, that's something super creative that nobody else is doing.
Yeah.
And how do we get to that? I can't tell you, because we were just down here vibing, taking pictures and shit,
Playing music. And
playing music,
Yeah.
and then 2-2s. I'm like, yo, and you're like, yo. And I was like, this is gonna be dope.
Yeah,
You know?
up.
So it's really just like, I think if I were to teach somebody creativity, it would just be yourself, be comfortable with yourself,
Yeah.
and be comfortable with the ideas that might come to your mind, regardless of how outlandish they will be.
Yeah.
If they're actually cool, and if you could see somebody else like vibing with it,
Yeah.
then I would say continue with it. If it's something like just stupid, like don't do it, man.
And
No,
another C
100%.
is confidence. Confidence
100%.
is embedded in it all. Like you have to be confident,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and then you have to find that. You have to take the time to find that, because when you force it, it definitely shows.
Yeah. False
Yeah.
confidence
Also-
is real.
Also, just be confident. Like a lot of people have an eye, maybe not a trained eye, to like whoever's at these higher end schools. These kind of people. But yeah, trust your eye in it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's all you have to do. Just
100%.
trust that you think something is good, and yeah, just follow through.
Yeah. And when I was doing school today, they were talking about like content creation and things that trend, right?
Yeah.
And like trends are never planned usually.
Facts. Yeah.
Facts.
Yeah. Facts.
Trends are always by mistake.
Yeah. Just
So
gravitations.
it's literally somebody that just decided to do what they wanted to do and put it out there, and people gravitated to it.
Yep.
Just like how this podcast was created.
Yep.
We were like, fuck it.
Straight up.
Let's shoot our first podcast and see how it does. And we got love, because obviously we have like support behind us
of course.
with
yeah.
our viewers and like the people that we know.
Love y'all
But
still.
it wasn't like an awful podcast.
No, exactly.
And it was a topic in which you guys really liked.
Yeah, we want to hear about and all that.
So
yeah.
it's like, if you just take the risk, that's another buzzword for this year, is taking the risk to actually do something that you said you're going to do, and try to do it at the best of your ability. People will appreciate it. It doesn't have to be like crazy content. Then when you see these like big YouTubers and their stuff is like prim and proper, the quality is super, super high. Like, you don't have to do that. Work with what you have and slowly build up. You didn't see us start off with a green screen.
Straight up. You see us start with a nice camera,
Nah,
nice
we
mics.
didn't have any of this.
Yeah.
We only got to this point.
Lighting.
Right?
Yeah.
We only got to this point because we decided to, like, hey, we've been doing good enough and people have been fucking with it enough. Like, let's level up and show our appreciation and put our hard work behind the podcast, other than
100%.
just coming up with the ideas.
100%. Yeah.
That's the only way that things like work, like
Yeah.
personally.
And I think on like a creative standpoint, I think it's easy to like I'm gonna speak on like maybe like photography for right now. I think it's easy to go on
Photography.
photography.
Where you from, yo?
Yo, don't do me like that, bro.
Right, my bad.
Well, where are you from? Mars.
That's no, it's not Mars anymore. It's like Saturn. Anyway, too many people said they're from Mars. Now it's
Oh,
not
yeah.
creative.
Yeah, I thought that. Yeah.
Anyway,
Oh shit.
no, I think it's easy to go on like a Pinterest board and like keep pulling like editing ideas for photos and like pull like certain perspectives from photos and just replicate that. You know what I mean? It's easy to do that. And you can make a brand off of that for sure.
Absolutely.
But like I just think there's a difference in people where it's like, yeah, I'm just trying to do this for money versus I'm doing this because I like to do it and I have a love for this thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
you-
like you see people pulling all those things, getting ideas off of that, and then they'll just like replicate the same thing that's on there and they'll get the following because people like those kind of photos. But like trends die. You know, creative minds don't die.
Facts.
Yeah.
Trends do die.
Yeah.
Another thing I would say, or question I'd ask, is do you feel like everybody's creative?
Hell no. I
Uh,
don't. I really don't.
I would disagree with that.
You think
Yeah, me
everyone's
as well.
creative?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Y'all think everyone's creative? Has some sort of creative
I feel-
touch that they can
Why?
put everything?
What do you?
Yeah,
say?
yeah.
Yeah. What are you saying? Because you're
I
against
just,
us, right?
I just think there's like I think there's a lot of people that are like I think lazy minds take the lead on a lot of people's lives,
What do you
So,
mean lazy minds?
I feel like going to just a thing that's like popular right now
like,
is
easy
like
to do?
easy, right? Like
Okay.
it's like again with the photography thing is like I do think that it's possible for everybody to pick up a camera and take a picture.
Yes.
Right now in our day and age, I think that's something that everybody can do. I think having the mind to like being like, yo,
See
that
a certain angle.
you know that A and Dub cup is sick versus like, yeah, I'll just edit this and make it look sick. Like it's a big difference, you know. And I see,
Yeah.
the thing is right now is I see a lot of people going and doing like photo shoots. They'll do that kind of stuff. They'll even jump on podcasts. A lot of people do that kind of thing, and it's like, yeah, when they do that, there's not a lot of like mental capacity going into the work that they're doing. I think they're just doing it to do it, and then that's sick. You know what I mean? Like you thought you were pretty for the cam, you go and take a pic. That's cool. I'm with that. But it's like it takes like a certain person to be like, yo, you know, do like a backflip right now and let me take a picture of that
Right.
shit. You know what I'm saying? Like,
And as you like,
Yeah.
see, I'm about to go into.
nah,
like,
but
a
go
thing.
ahead, go. What
Like,
do
as-
y'all think is on
When
the
you
other
take a
side?
shot, no, but even if you do a backflip thing, like you
Yeah.
could just take a photo and make it look sick. Like you have it standing here, you do a backflip.
Yeah.
Whatever, right?
Yeah.
But it's literally like a creative mind would be like, yo, what happens if I move the camera to the side and follow you with the backflip? And then that's how people come up with those transitions where it's like they followed you all the way down,
Mm-hmm.
and now they can split into something else coming up.
Straight up using
So it's-
exposure.
It's
all
just like
that,
it's
you
just
know?
like
Yeah.
different ways of thinking. It's like what do you see when you shoot this?
Mm-hmm.
If you like personally, if you don't like for this podcast, right?
Mm-hmm.
It takes a lot of effort to shoot this flipping podcast.
It does actually.
right?
Yeah, it does.
And like coordinating schedules and stuff like that. But when we
Yeah.
get down here, it's like it's well worth it. And I think it's like if you're doing something just to do it versus like doing something that you like
yeah.
or that you feel fulfillment out of, that's the difference between people being successful and people not.
Shots, yeah.
And
for
people
real.
being creative and people not.
Facts.
Like you just said, like if you're just here to just like do shit and get follows and be like, yo, I have that guy that has 18,000 people on Instagram or whatever.
Facts.
Right?
Yeah.
But if you can't be happy with the same 500 people that are rocking with you, like what we have right now,
Mm-hmm.
and like be appreciative when people send you a question or 10 people comment on your picture
100.
or like people are engaging with you. Like if you can't be happy with that stuff and all you're looking at is numbers and trying to be popular,
Yeah.
like that's not creativity, bro.
It literally, cause like I like for this podcast specifically, we got like 4 people on team. You know what I mean? We got a lot of supporters, we got a lot of friends that listen, but we have like 4 people on team. You know what I mean? And it's like when we post a clip, if it gets 5 likes, I'm geeked up. Like I am hyped. I love it. It makes me feel like, you know what I mean? Like, yo, you took the time to listen. That's all that matters to me. You know what I mean? Like,
Let alone when we post a poll and get like
Ugh.
300 people commenting
Family,
on,
I'm
like on a yes or
geeked.
no. Like I'm
yo,
like I'm so appreciative of
Yeah.
people just like taking the time to even say yes or no. You could have just skipped past that.
exactly. We care.
But
we
what you
care.
just oh my God,
Nah,
ood,
another
man.
one still, bro. That's like 2
Ooh,
times in the
brother,
same.
brother,
same
you
pod.
right? Yeah.
I'm
you
just
good?
Yeah, I'm fine. I'm just looking at you and
The
talking.
one,
You know,
the one sip of the sun's.
I lied.
chatty.
But what do you think though?
Yeah,
I do feel everybody's born with creativity,
Mhm.
but I do
Yeah.
feel like people either through family, through friends at school, through teachers is the big one. Either gets dulled,
yeah,
Word.
stunted.
young,
Stunted,
and you
yeah.
don't feel like you're confident enough to continue, or you're not naturally gifted at, I don't know, drawing. Some people are just born sick at drawing.
Straight
Do you know
up,
what I
yeah.
mean? Or some people have to develop that skill because they have the eye and they know what they want and all that kind of stuff, and they know perspective and proportion and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, I do feel like everybody's born with creativity, but I do feel like people just either dumb it down or like yeah, I don't know. Like there's a lot of, imagine this, like generations ago, there was how many good singers, male and female.
Yeah.
Now look,
Enough.
Yeah, straight up.
and I bet there's so many people who can sing,
Yeah.
but these singers these guys who are sick at singing don't sing no more because they put auto tune on their voice
Mhm.
or they want to rap
Yeah, yeah.
because it's
yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's
I feel
image.
that.
I feel like a
Yeah.
lot of people are blessed with some stuff, but it's whether or not you want to take action and home in on it. Or
Facts.
like even me, I didn't think growing up I'd be doing this, but
Mhm.
like I'm good with my hands, and then realizing like I got an eye and I kind of know, like I want to I got a
You have a
perspective.
vision. You
Yeah, I
have
got
a
a vision. Yeah, I
vision,
got a
bro.
bigger vision.
Yeah.
So like I want to figure out how to put that out there, and I won't
Mhm.
stop at using this tool in terms of clothes to stop and building my vision, but it's a step.
That's respect. That's respect.
I agree with you, man. I think that like for me, I remember being a kid and wanting to be a DJ.
oh, lie.
Yeah, because I rock. Like, I love music.
You do love music,
Yeah,
yeah.
man.
Yeah.
And people are like, yo, you're not gonna make any money you're not gonna make any money being a DJ.
Yeah. And I look at the times.
And I look at the times when
yeah.
there's people can make so much money off of being a DJ. So I think like just thinking about that in that way, as like a person who wants to have kids, and when my kids come, like I want my kids to be as creative as possible. You know what I mean? Like I would never want to stunt their creativity where it's like, oh, why are you doing that? That's weird.
Yeah.
Like, nah, yo, like, you know what I mean?
Do your thing. Like, do your
Yeah.
thing. Let's see where it gets and, like, what's up with it. For sure.
Absolutely.
For sure.
Like, you come to me, hey, Dad, I drew an elephant, and the elephant don't look like an elephant.
Nah, I'm going to tell you, it don't look like an effort, but we're going to get it right.
Yeah, see, that's
We're
the
going
thing.
to get it right.
That's
I'm not accepting mediocrity.
blind.
We're not doing that. Participation
doing it, I'm
awards
sorry.
are not accepted in the
I'm
household
sorry.
still, bro.
Fair.
If you taking
fair.
up saxophone and it doesn't sound like a tune, I'm gonna tell you it doesn't sound like a tune, but we gotta put in the work to get there.
But I hope my kid's smart enough to be like, I'm just practicing the notes.
No,
Like, you shut
no,
up,
no,
bro.
no. You're gonna come home and try a thing, and I'm just look at you, be like, I rate the effort and the
Yeah.
hard work you put into this.
Yeah.
But let's work on the notes and actually making it better.
I rate that.
You know?
I agree with you. I agree with you. Yeah. I would
with
still
that.
tell my little kid, like, oh, like, what a nice elephant. But, like, watch
Nah,
daddy draw an elephant.
Show
can draw
uncle,
like
show
that?
uncle, show
Yeah?
uncle your
Yeah,
elephant.
you know what I'm saying? You can
I'm
draw
gonna
like
tell you
that.
the truth.
All right.
That one, man.
All right, come. All right. Well, on that, we're gonna end this podcast right here.
Yes, sir. I feel like we ended that a little bit abruptly,
We did.
but
did.
like we don't want to like kind of ramble on and take away from the points that we actually made during this podcast.
Facts.
If you guys like it, we'll just run a number 2, like a part 2.
No problem.
You know what I mean?
You want to thank some people?
Thank you for the new listeners,
Yes, sir.
and watchers, viewers.
Yes.
Thank you for the repeat offenders for coming back.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you for our core group of listeners that continue to listen to us every week. We shout everybody out. Thank you for engaging with us on our Instagram posts.
Yes, sir.
That's huge.
Massive.
That really makes us happy.
Facts.
And like we said, we're gonna continuously keep being consistent with y'all and give you guys the creative content that you're looking for.
Straight up.
Ood, would you like to give your outro?
Yeah. Spread the word. Tell a friend.
Yes,
It doesn't
sir.
hurt. Doesn't cost nothing. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? You stayed this long, so I know you like it.
Exactly.
So why not share it to somebody that you like as well?
Exactly. I like that.
You know what I
Straight
mean?
up.
What's your name?
It was Mr. Beaches
Mr.
this
Beaches.
time.
Sorry, apologies.
Mr. Beaches
Apologies.
this time. I would honestly, it's all good, bro. We always fluctuating with them.
Yeah, there's so many names for you, and they
I
all
gotta-
fit. But it's just I forgot.
They
that it was
work.
Mr. Beaches.
Whatever works, it works.
I haven't heard
right?
that one in a while.
It's been a minute still. I would just like to say thank you for listening. I appreciate you. If you stayed this long, you're a valued member of our society, and I love that. But the one thing that I would love to ring true is to number 1, stay healthy.
Oh, word.
Number 2, stay safe.
Yes, sir.
And number 3, for the love of God, stay out the streets.
Oh, Mr. Beaches is back, bro. Damn, I have not heard that in a while
Oh,
either.
it felt nice, bro.
Shit, that was nice. That's nostalgic.
And Glue, what do you got to say?
You already know who it is. It's your boy Glue.
What up?
Glue. I love when you did that podcast. That was sick, bro. I'm not gonna lie. Every time you say it like that, I'm like,
That's
yeah.
just it. Yo, I got another nostalgia hit.
What?
I know we haven't been doing this that long to hit with nostalgia.
But
It's
it's kind
crazy.
of cool though.
But like some brotherly daps. That's crazy.
Yo, I haven't hit the brotherly
Yup.
dab
Yo,
since like the first episodes where you could just
know.
hear it on the.
I
on-
know the smack. I know. Go ahead though. Go ahead though. Yeah, I know.
I'm honestly gonna have to run back the second episode just to hear that shit.
Straight
Or
up,
first
bro.
episode.
Straight up. What you gotta
Yo,
say?
I just want to say thank you for everybody. Thank you to everybody
Yes.
for listening. Obviously, we know that Glue cannot speak English at all ever.
Never been.
Ever. It's never been a thing. I just want to say thank you guys for tuning in with us.
Yep.
And hopefully we'll see you in the next episode. Stay humble. Peace.
Later.